Well, today we're going to be talking about Cloudways client billing. This is one of the top things we've heard from freelancers and agencies that they'd love to see is being able to invoice clients directly from the platform, being able to send one-time recurring invoices, and so much more. So we're going to be walking through that here today, step by step, and letting you guys know how client billing works, what some common workflows are, what are the problems that it solves, how it can help your agency or freelance business grow and run more efficiently, and all that good stuff. Andreas, great to see you from Greece here. So it looks like we've got a really awesome group of folks here who are joining us from all around the world. We are recording this session today, so if you want to rewatch it, we will make that link available to you later on in today's session. My name is Brent Weaver. I'm a Cloudways Maverick and product evangelist here at Cloudways and DigitalOcean. I also run the UGurus business unit, so I'm very familiar with agencies. We focus on agency growth, coaching, and training. So let's go ahead and jump in. So what you're going to see today is just how we help people manage their invoicing with Cloudways. We're going to have an overview of the client management system, a dashboard to kind of view your overall activity with invoicing, how you manage your services, automated and recurring invoices, taxes, and all that good stuff. So we're going to be covering quite a bit of stuff over the course of today. It would be cool for me to know kind of who our audience is. So if you don't mind letting us know what kind of business you are you a freelancer? Are you a developer? Are you an e-commerce business? What kind of business are you running right now in Cloudways? That'll just help us to personalize today's session as much as humanly possible. As I mentioned, we're going to talk first a little bit about just what Cloudways is. I assume most folks that are here today are probably a current Cloudways customer, but if by chance you are not yet using Cloudways, we'll give you a quick 90-second elevator pitch on what Cloudways is and how we help agencies, freelance business, e-commerce, and SMBs with cloud hosting. We'll then jump in with both feet to our client billing platform. We're going to go through 7 step-by-step workflows on the client billing platform. So really pumped to have you guys here. If you are currently a Cloudways customer, write the word current in chat. If you are new or not yet a customer of Cloudways, write the words not yet in chat. So Leo current, Brad current, Andreas current. Awesome. We're all family here today. So it looks like we've got mostly folks that are all current customers. So you all know all the great things already about Cloudways if you're currently a Cloudways customer, but incredible price to performance ratio. We try to make things as simple as humanly possible for server management. My business unit, UGurus, has been on Cloudways now for going on about 4 years. It's fast and reliable. We run our membership portal on it. We run our front-end website on it. It's so cool to see so many businesses running and scaling businesses on the Cloudways platform. In terms of the types of applications that we work with, it's all PHP-based applications, WordPress, WooCommerce, Magento, Laravel, Drupal, Joomla, or if you have a custom PHP application, we offer tons of one-click installation of a bunch of these popular platforms. So without further ado, let's start talking about client billing. Now, when we started to build this feature for Cloudways, one of the things that we want you to understand is this is just the first step for us to extend more tools for agency and freelance customers. And so when we went and talked to customers, by and large, the number one thing they said to us is, I wish we could just invoice our clients directly on the Cloudways platform for the hosting that we manage for our clients. Now, some agencies send their clients directly to Cloudways to sign up. Maybe they use the affiliate program or something like that. But a ton of agencies manage a lot of websites, maybe 50 or 100 websites. They manage web care plans. They're doing hourly services for their clients. And they need to manage that billing. And that requires them to go and get a separate billing solution that they might not have in place. Maybe they've got a system to send one-time invoices, but they don't have something to send those recurring invoices to their clients. In-step client billing. So this is a really awesome feature that is available to you directly within the Cloudways user interface. And so we'll talk through that here in a minute. So the first thing is what are some of the problems that we set out to solve? One is that manually creating invoices is a pain, especially if you're talking about recurring invoices that need to be sent on the same day each month. There's over at the UGurus business unit, I talk to agencies all the time, and they'll say things like, oh yeah, I just forgot to send this invoice, or oh gosh, and sending invoices just takes so much time. It's so annoying. but it's the cash flow of your business. So it's something that you should be spending time on, but it does take a little bit of energy. You got to remember to do it. You have to stop what you're doing, and that's something that takes up a lot of time. Now, some of you might be using other software as a service platforms to send invoices currently. When we look at those platforms, they have a ton of extra features, bloated features. They're also very, very costly. And I've actually seen some of these other SaaS companies do some really interesting things with their pricing recently, where they introduce this quote unquote very low introductory price, but the tool actually is 3 or 4 or 5 times more expensive than what they're listing on their website. So they're very expensive and they're bloated. They have a lot of things that you don't need just to send simple one-time or recurring invoices. So we wanted to create something that was really simple and streamlined. And then also forgetting to send invoices. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but if you literally like, I've talked to agencies or freelancers where they're like, yeah, I haven't sent this customer their invoice for the last 3 or 4 months of hosting. I think they're going to be really surprised when they get this invoice for more than they might be planning on. And that creates a lot of friction in your business. And if you want to grow a successful freelance or digital agency business, you definitely can't forget to send your invoices. It's definitely important. But look, I don't think any of you here, like, I don't think any freelancer or marketing agency or web professional, you weren't put on this planet to send invoices. You were put on this planet to create value for your customers and solve really interesting problems. And so if you're somebody who is having to focus on this stuff that has nothing to do with helping your clients, then that's actually not going to help you grow your agency over the long term. So when it comes to the client billing feature with Cloudways, first and foremost, we can create invoices quickly and easily. That's super key. We don't want this to be a time-consuming process for you. We want to have these very lean and focused features to get you back to running your business in the way that you need to. We also want this to be insanely affordable with only the specific features that we think that you need as a freelance or digital agency customer. Now, of course, we're going to continue to evolve the product and add things to it. The team already has some ideas and things that they want to do to help you even more as we've seen people use the product, but we want to keep this thing really efficient and focused on what's going to help you move your business forward. We want to keep you on top of your invoices and make sure that you're getting paid. Like, so to be able to see like, hey, which of my clients owe me money, which of them have already paid their invoices, that's really important for you to know how much money you have in kind of what we call accounts receivables or that's past due, things like that. And ideally, we want to help you spend more time building your agency and helping your clients. That's the stuff that really matters, not figuring out, how do I, send an invoice or whatever. So if you're a brand new freelancer, a brand new agency, or a small team, and you've been looking for a platform to send invoices, but you don't want to pay for the expensive SaaS solutions out there, then Cloudways client billing can be a fantastic feature for you. Now, as I'm going through the workflows here, if you guys have specific questions on the client billing feature, please don't hesitate to ask in chat. So we're going to jump in to a few different features. So the first thing is getting set up and integrated with your Stripe account. So when you first log into Cloudways, now if you aren't yet a customer, you've got to come to cloudways.com. You've got to start for free. So like to say that you're a freelance or agency customer when you're signing up. Now, assuming that you're already part of Cloudways, you can simply log in and I will show you where you will find your client billing feature. So when you first come in, you'll see this masthead here introducing client billing. You can simply click there to get started for free. It is also under the Unified Admin, the Unified UI navigation over here on the left-hand side under client billing. So you can get there either way, either through this homepage dashboard advertisement, or you can get there on the left-hand side under client billing. Now, when we get to this page, if you have not yet signed up, you will get, it'll look like this. Basically, it'll be a little bit of an ad for the client billing feature. And if you click set up your agency, it will take you to selecting a plan. Now, any Cloudways user can sign up for the free plan. So this is great if you have a single client or you have a couple of services. For that client, you can send unlimited invoices and you get analytics. There's some additional information on here. Now, one thing we currently integrate with Stripe. That's our main merchant account at this time. So that's if you're not currently a Stripe customer and you go through this workflow, it's going to basically prompt you to create your business on Stripe. So you don't have to leave the UI at all to create that. If you already have a Stripe account, it will prompt you for that. So if you select that free plan, it's going to then ask you to set up your agency. If you get stuck along the way, feel free to reach out to the support team. And that first step is going to be to connect with your Stripe account. So either creating a Stripe account or connecting with an existing Stripe account through that workflow. If you click on connect your account, it's going to then ask you to log into Stripe or sign up for an account. Now, I already have a Stripe account and I have already signed up an account. So it's kind of like those cooking shows where at this point, we're going to go to the account that is already live. But if you have not yet set up that account, you can simply do that by going into that part of the application. Now, I'm going to go ahead and drop a link in chat. So if anybody at this point has not been able to find that, you can simply click that link in chat and it will take you into your overview or dashboard for client billing. So once your account is set up, you've got this panel here. We've got our total clients. Now, this account currently, if I go to this manage plan, you'll see here, I'm currently on the growth plan. So $4.99 per month gives me 10 clients, 15 services. I can easily upgrade to $14 a month for unlimited clients, unlimited services, which is way more cost effective than pretty much any managed billing service that I currently have seen out there on the market, some of those popular name brands that you might have been familiar with. So very affordable for you to use with your agency. Now, when we first log in here, before we go into creating a client, creating a service, or all that kind of stuff, we want to go ahead and make sure that we've got the right settings for our agency. Now, one of the benefits here is that you can add your own logo, your colors, all that good stuff. You can also set this billing date. And this is the one feature that I kind of want to highlight here. So if we go into and just kind of run through that again, we logged into the main dashboard, we clicked on settings, then we went to billing details, and then down here to billing date. Now, if you're doing invoices on a monthly basis, we're going to want to set a specific date of the month that our monthly invoices are going to generate. So some of you might send your invoices on the first of the month for that month of service. Then you might give your client 5 days or 15 days or 30 days to pay those invoices before you consider them late. But this is an important number to define because all of your recurring invoices are going to come out on this date. Now, when you create a new recurring invoice, we'll show you here in a little bit, you can invoice them a prorated amount immediately, but it will base that amount on this monthly date. Now, if you'd like your clients to pay you by the first for the next month of service, then you might actually make your invoices generate on the 25th of the month and give your clients 5 days to pay before they're considered late. And that way you're going to get all of those monthly payments for the next month of service by the first, assuming that your clients pay those on time. So that's the first thing we want to walk through is just make sure that A, you get your account set up, you connect it with Stripe, and then B, that you set that specific billing date for any of your recurring invoices. Because as you go out and start creating recurring invoices, you will see this date show up again. And if you're like, hey, where the heck do I manage that? It's under settings. Now, once we add additional payment methods, you will see those available here. But you can see here, we've got my Stripe account connected here with DigitalOcean at the UGurus team, shows when that was connected, and then I am all set and good to go. If you have any questions so far about how to set up your account, if you're getting stuck when you go do this for your own agency, and mind you, everybody here can go through this workflow because you can add the free plan. So you don't even have to pay for client billing. You can give it a try with the free plan and then decide if you want to upgrade from there. Now, the first thing that we have to do before we add a client is we need to go in and add services in order to send our very first invoice. So if I go into services, you'll see here, I've added some pretty common services that we might see from an agency like web design projects, Project XYZ, web design, hourly, website care, etc. And what I'm going to go in here, because I've got additional services available, I'm going to add a new service here. And this service, we'll just call this website development, right? I've got website design, but we're going to add website development in here. I can add a specific description of that service. So I'm going to call this basically, I'm just going to make a note here that this is a service that we're going to add that's on a project basis. Now we can go ahead and also add a currency to this service. So if you've got clients all over the world and you're billing them in their local currency, the system supports that out of the box. For now, I'm just going to select USD for this client, and I'm going to go ahead and go create plan. Now we have a service and then we have plans and pricing. So let's say, for instance, I have a small project, right? And this is a fixed price type of project. I'm going to bill this once and I'm going to call this, $2,000 in USD. Now I can have multiple plans per, um, per service. So for example, I might have a medium project and maybe my medium project is billed once, and at 5,000, I could have a large project and this is also billed once and it could be $20,000 there. So now I've got 3 different plans on one service. Go ahead and click preview. I'm seeing some love there from Brad, seeing nice in chat, so very cool. Seeing some positive vibes there. So now we've got a website development service. We've got 3 plans, small, medium, and large, and let's go ahead and create that service. All right, so that service has now been added. We have a new service called website development. I can see how many clients have used this service. I can also see total revenue that we've created through this service. Now, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to clients this time. So now we have a service added. The second thing that we need to do is we need to add actual clients in here. So I've added a couple clients already, but I'm going to go ahead and add a third here. So test, we'll call this one You Gurus by DigitalOcean. My maximum 20 characters. Let's just call this one You Gurus. All right, so let's say I'm doing work with myself here or my doppelganger over on the You Gurus team. I'm going to put my email address in there, select my country. I'm going to put my phone number in here. Not sure if I put enough 5s in there. Yep, good to go. I'm going to go ahead and add a logo in here. Gurus by DigitalOcean there. Voila. I get to select this client's billing currency. Again, if you've got those clients that are in different currencies, you can select that. I can also add tax. So depending on where I'm operating from, if I'm selling my clients products or services, obviously you need to talk to tax professionals and decide what kind of tax you should be adding onto those. You can leave that blank and not have tax there, or you can add a specific tax rate for that client if you need to pay tax for that specific customer. So like, for instance, if you're selling a product here in the US and you've got customers that are in different states, you might have different tax rates there. And so that you're able to control and manage that at a per customer level. Or you can just leave it blank and it's not going to add a tax. And I'm going to go ahead and click create client. So now I have my client, I've added my service. To send my first invoice, I simply go into the client's settings. I can see this client currently has $0 in revenue, $0 in monthly revenue, and no assigned services. So let's go ahead and add a service for this project. Now, let's say, for instance, I just added that website development project. I can come in here, add that plan, large, medium, or small. So let's say we just did a large project. It's going to bill them once. I can also change the unit price here. That's going to affect this. Now, the way I did this was I just added a project as if it was my invoice. So let's say, for instance, I knew that XYZ client, we were about to invoice them for a deposit. It'd be web development. I could go into that service. I could add a plan for that specific client's web development, 50% deposit or first payment or second payment or third payment. And that would be available right here on the dropdown. You can have as many plans on a service as you want. And so I imagine as we go into agencies that are using this system robustly, they're going to have, a handful of services, but then within each service, they might have a ton of different plans. Another way that you can do this is you can add your hourly rate as a plan, and then obviously change this unit price over here. Let me show you an example of that with web design hourly. Select my different rates. I had pre-coded this with 3 rates, a standard rate, preferred rate, and a discounted rate. Let's go with our preferred rate here. And that's going to bill at once. Again, this is not a monthly recurring service, and it's at a rate of 150. So let's say we did a 15-hour project for this client, then it's going to go ahead and update that. So I'm going to go ahead and jump back to our web development project that we just added here, large project, and I'm going to go ahead and click assign service. Now, your default billing date is the first of every month. However, this one-time service invoice will be sent immediately on April 30th. So because I selected this as a one-time service, not a monthly service, it's going to kind of ignore that billing date that we have in our account, and it's just going to send the invoice immediately upon assigning it. So once I assign that invoice, boom, it's going to go ahead and email that invoice to the customer, and the customer will have a payment link from there. So if I go back here to invoices, we'll now see that there's an invoice number, C54, et cetera, date of issue, April 30, payable $20,000, due date May 5th. Currently it's set to open. I can mark this as paid if I get offline payments. I can download that PDF, or I can cancel the invoice if I want to change that. So this will now show that this is an outstanding invoice for this client. If I download that PDF, which I have a couple other sample PDFs because it does have bank information for this business on there. But if I download that PDF, it would look something like this. I'd have my business name on here. I'd have my client's name on there. Oops. Let me take you back to here. So I'd have the client's name on there, and I would have the bill to on there, and then I would have those amounts. And you can see here, there's different currencies on this one. So this is a branded invoice. And then if you didn't have your logo uploaded or your colors, it would not show this yellow or the logo. It would just be a blank email from there. The emailed invoices that get sent look something like this. So you'd see a new invoice from UGurus here. You would see an option here to pay this invoice. You can see best client ever from UGurus has those services listed here, and I can click pay this invoice. It will take me over to Stripe. So the actual client experience minus the Stripe logo, your colors is completely white labeled. So depending on what you have added into the system, you're not going to see Cloudways. Your client's not going to see Cloudways. So if you're white labeling Cloudways, if you're not talking to your customer about what hosting platform you're using, or if you're not even invoicing your customers for hosting from the back end, they're not going to see a Cloudways brand. I know that when I was looking in the Cloudways user group, that was a question that people had. They were like, oh man, I don't want to see, I don't want my client to see the Cloudways logo, for example, because they don't want to have them sign up directly, which we understand for freelancers and agencies. That's definitely a concern. So these invoices will come directly from Stripe system. They'll have your branding, your logo on them when you send those. So that is sending your first invoice. Now let's also look at recurring billing. So we sent our first invoice. Let's take a look at how recurring billing works a little bit differently. So I'm going to go back to my dashboard here. I'm going to go to services, and I'm going to go ahead and add a new service. Now this service we're going to call web hosting, right? Real nice and simple. Basic web hosting for my clients' websites and apps. We got USD here as the price. Go ahead and create. So let's say we have our basic hosting, billing cycle, monthly. Let's call it, just planting some ideas here for you agencies out there, but let's call it $100 a month for basic hosting. Let's go to, let's add another one called premium hosting. Maybe we'll set this at monthly as well at $200 per month. And then we'll add a VIP plan here for once, and we'll call this $300 per month. Now, you can also add a plan that is not billed monthly, or not, I'm sorry, not once, but monthly, but you can also bill plans at quarterly intervals, semi-annual, or annual. I realize most agencies probably they're doing monthly or annual plans for hosting. Some are doing quarterly, but you have that control to create that billing cycle as well. So I could call this the annual basic for yearly, and we could say charge $1,000 per year. Give our client a little bit of a break if they choose to sign up for an annual. So once I've set up those monthly, and yearly plans, I can click preview, review that information, make sure everything looks good, click create service, and voila. We have a new service called web hosting. I can see that's currently assigned to 0 clients, and I currently have no revenue coming in. I go back to clients and we find our UGurus. You'll see here that we have, go to assign services, assign, select our service, web hosting, select our plan. UGurus is probably on the VIP plan. And we'll go ahead and select monthly and click assign service. Now, once we do that, we're going to get this screen. This screen is important because we have to make a choice. We're going to select our billing date. My default billing date is on the 25th of every month. Remember, that's that setting that we chose under settings when we first set up the account. So I can either choose to send the first invoice immediately and charge a prorated amount for the period between April 30 and May 25th, or I can choose to send the first invoice on May 25th. So this is up to you. If you're starting your client's services immediately, then you might want to prorate them for that first month. If you have told your client, hey, we'll send you your first invoice on the 25th of the month for those months of service, then you obviously would select that second one. Or let's say, for instance, you're charging your client, if your first billing day of the month is the first, and you are adding retainer services or something like that, and you don't prorate them, then you would just select that first of the month. I typically would prorate because we're going to offer those services immediately. So it's going to send an invoice immediately, and it's going to charge. It's going to set up this to recur on that 25th of the month thereafter. So let's go ahead and click assign service and see what we get to. All right, now we've got assigned services. Plan VIP, billing cycle monthly, amount 300. Come back to invoices, and what do we see? Now we have two open invoices, big fat $20,000 invoice for our project, and then we also have this monthly invoice that was triggered at a prorated amount of $243.56. Now we can choose to mark this paid, download PDF, or we can cancel that invoice if for whatever reason that invoice was not sent correctly. And that's it. We can set and forget, assuming that our client pays their invoices. They're going to get those invoices issued. They're going to pay them on an ongoing basis, and we are pretty much good to go. We will see that those invoices are outstanding. And if the clients have any questions on them, they can reply to those emails. They can contact us at that point. So that's pretty much it for being able to create those initial invoices and those recurring bills. So any questions so far on setting up your account, connecting Stripe, setting your first invoice, recurring billing? Great question, Brad. Down the road, can an agency embed an iframe, possibly their plans and services, in an onboarding sign up shopping cart area on one site? Possibly they need to register on the site first, sign up for Woo memberships, get assigned a user role, etc. I will let Shahir come in and answer that probably on chat or microphone. But if I had to guess, we're probably going to be managing most of this stuff within the Cloudways backend. I'm not sure how we will plan, if at all, to integrate into your individual websites or WooCommerce. I think we're definitely going to be rolling out additional features and workflows directly within the backend. So, Shahir, I don't know if you can take that question in chat or on mic.
Sure. Thanks, Brent. And thanks, Brad. Thanks for asking the question. Great question. So if I understand correctly, what you're trying to achieve is that you're trying to have some embedding with your website where your clients could go and like they could select a plan, and then on the background they get added as a client on the Cloudways client billing, and then their invoices goes on. So this is great feedback and a great use case. Right now it's not on the roadmap, but this sounds like very interesting. We can definitely look into the technical feasibility and see if this can be a part of the roadmap, because apparently it seems like a lot of agencies would love this kind of a solution.
Awesome. And I know, I know that Shahir and the team have already been meeting with a lot of our agency clients, gathering feedback, and I'm sure we're going to be continuing to do that ongoing. So, our third workflow, we already kind of touched on this a little bit, but I do want to just highlight the white label invoicing aspect of this. As invoices are sent, you can customize that logo and the colors. So you're going to have that kind of brand visual to your clients. Again, they're not going to see Cloudways, whether it's the emailed invoice or the invoice that comes through that they can pay on the landing page. So it's going to be totally devoid of Cloudways branding in there. And we know that's something that was really important for our agency clients, was so they could represent their brand. Hey, this is my business. I'm invoicing my clients. Cloudways isn't invoicing my clients. Clients aren't confused of, am I paying Cloudways or am I paying your agency? These are all coming directly from your business. Accepting offline payments. So this is pretty simple, but as we mentioned, If you do get offline payments, you can just simply come in here and mark this as paid. If your client chooses to pay directly through the Stripe integration, which depending on how you have your Stripe account set up, there's tons of different ways that you can accept payment directly through Stripe, which is pretty cool. Stripe offers, whether it's credit card, ACH, clients can pay through Apple Pay, that kind of stuff. So because they're paying through that Stripe UI, you've got a lot of flexibility there. So we could definitely support the offline payments. And once that credit card payment comes through, you would be able to simply click the 3 buttons here, and you'd have a third option there to refund those payments. So if you did get payments for whatever reason that you had to refund, that's going to be as simple as just a couple of clicks there. You click those 3 dots and then process that refund there as well. Robert asked a question there, Shahir. I'm not sure if you can jump in on whether it's a subscription or how that credit card is charged on an ongoing basis.
You can continue, Brent. I will just drop the answer in the chat.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. And then those easily set up and use multi-currency. So as we mentioned before, right, a lot of Cloudways customers, we know, very international user base, not just based in the US, but we've got, Canada, UK, Middle East, Asia, so many different countries that are currently using Cloudways. So we wanted to make sure that from day one, we built this in a way that was supporting different currencies, different tax situations. Probably don't calculate every possible different tax scenario in every possible different country, but I think the basic ability to add tax, to add currencies at those plans and at the client level allows you to send those services. So at the client level, we can change that billing currency in there. So depending on what if you set up your products in a certain currency, if the client's in a different currency, it's going to send them those bills in that specific currency. So you can manage that at the client level. In addition to that, you can add those new taxes. And I didn't show this earlier, but we can simply just set this up as, hey, sales tax or VAT, whatever you want to do in there. So if we wanted to set up a simple sales tax, add that in there, and then we can select that sales tax. And now each individual invoice that goes to that client is going to have those additional tax charges added to their invoice. And then just to clarify there, what Shahir said, yes, once the credit card is added by your client first time, they do get charged recurring. So I know for recurring services, we want to make sure our client's credit card are charged automatically if possible. We don't want to be chasing those invoices unless for some reason there's a failed payment or their expiration date got updated or something like that. So once they do add that credit card through the Stripe process, that will be auto charged. So if you have 50 clients or 100 clients or 500 clients all on hosting services, you can rest assured that those cards are going to be charged automatically over time. Let's see here. So we covered tax, we covered refunds, we covered multi-currency. Brad coming in here, continuing on boarding theme. Currently, does Cloudways client have the option to be assigned a vanity URL to act as an interface to sign up for their agency services? So currently, no, the client itself is not signing up for the services, Brad. You as the agency owner or as a freelancer, you're going in there at more of a billing or accounting task, and you're going to be creating the client, you're going to be creating the services. There's not a client-facing UI where the client can go in and add services or for it to become like an e-commerce cart. This is pretty much managed just as your billing and invoicing system. Yeah, this is great. And I love that idea there, Ryan, for the future start date for recurring invoices versus those being initiated right when you add them. So definitely something that I'm sure the team will take into consideration. So once we have a service, we can also edit those service details. So if you do need to edit what shows up for your clients, you can do that. You can also edit your individual plans. You can also archive those plans. So if there's, I know this happens, but let's say, for instance, you raise your prices. Hopefully that happens, right? So if some point you're like, hey, we don't offer hosting for $100 anymore, we can go ahead and archive that so myself or my team won't continue to add that to our clients' invoices. And there is a billing date but it is not set for those individual one-off invoices at this time. But that's definitely something that's on the radar there. So we can create those custom tax, custom discounts. We can manage the white label aspect of our brand. If we go back here to our settings, you can see there, we've got our logo. We can add that logo in here for our company if we want. We can update those brand colors, save those changes, and that'll be reflected on your invoices as well as the emails that get sent to your clients. And then this is that billing date that Shahir was mentioning. This is set at an account level, so all of your billing dates would be the same for those recurring invoices, not on individual invoices, but definitely stuff for the team to consider on an ongoing basis. All right, so quick recap here. So we walked through quite a lot of different features here today, getting set up integration with Stripe, recurring billing, white label invoicing, accepting offline payments, processing refunds, multi-currency, custom taxes, and discounts, if we can add those at the individual service level for the discounts. Any questions? So let's go ahead and jump. I know you guys might have some questions. Some things have already come into chat. So Shahir, we can kind of field these as they come in. So what is the default from email used for sending out emails or invoices to clients? I believe this comes from, it comes from a Stripe email. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Shahir.
Yeah.
Keep me honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Ryan, thanks for asking the question again. Yeah. These emails come from the Stripe domain. We intentionally don't do this from the cloud-based domain to make sure that this is a white label service and your clients don't know where these emails are coming from. In future, like if we get some feedback from the customers, we are also open to add a feature where you will have an option to add your domain, and those emails basically come from your domain. Let's say if you have a domain ryan.com and you would like to get send email from those domain, we can add a feature where you can like add your domain and then those emails go from ryan.com. Right now it's stripe.com. Hope that answers.
Please go over multi-currency again. Yes, absolutely. So currency, you can see here, each client here they have a billing currency. And so that's the first place that you would manage. That is going to be at the client level. So once we're in here on a client, go into edit profile, we can update that currency here. We can also, when we go create a new client, so if this client was, say, based in the United Kingdom, what's UK plus 44? Maybe. Yep, there we go. Not sure. I think 44. Should know my international calling numbers a little bit better. So if we add a client in here, I'm just going to add this with our DO logo again. And we can go ahead and GBP. So if this client is in Great British Pounds, and then we can select that tax there. So then this client is a 1% tax. And then we've got that client now is set in Great British Pounds. So, and then at the service level, when we add that service, we also are adding that default currency. When this is pre-selected, we can also add 4 more currencies to broaden your service offering. So we can select a service, different currency at the service level. So if you have specific pricing or you have services that are only available in certain areas, then you can add that here at that service. So web design project UK. I can go ahead and select this as pounds. There we go. So that one should be in there. And USD is already selected as the by default. Very good. Great plan. And set my price there for USD. And then, oops, move and preview. Now, for some reason, That did not show the GBP plan, so not sure what happened there at the service level. But we can see there that that currently is just marked for USD. So I'm not sure if something's going on there, Shahir, but we didn't see a, even though I selected it, it was not selected for GBP. So you do select currency at the client level, and you should be able to select it at the service level. We'll see what was going on there with why that service level currency did not take. From Ryan's question here, can we preview what the page looks like the client pays on after clicking on the button on the email? Curious if bank transfer will be an option for customers or if it's only cards. This can be checked from your Stripe account directly. So when you go to this page and you click on view invoice and payment details, depending on what, and this invoice was voided. Let me go back to an invoice, a new invoice here. Let me pause my screen share. So this invoice was the 243 one that we sent. And you can actually see here, we have quite a lot of payment methods enabled on the Uguru's account. So you can pay with link, you can do card, bank transfer, Cash App. You can do a US bank account in here. So depending on what services you have enabled, you can offer those directly through your Stripe account configuration. So I think there's quite a lot of customization there once you're within Stripe. Or cards on there, or you can do a US bank account and go ahead and go through that workflow directly there through Stripe. So that's one of the cool things about this is we're leveraging a lot of powerful features in terms of how Stripe operates and just how easy they make it to pay and leverage some of these things. I know some other platforms out there, you know, that do their own integration at this point, don't offer this level of customization. Um, Yeah. So Adil, payment processing. So what are the costs associated with payment processing? I believe that's going to be different per business, but I believe Stripe has a flat fee with a single transaction fee and a very affordable fee for cards, and then maybe bank transfers are not a percentage; they're a transaction fee. So depending on how you allow your clients to pay, you can control, you know, what payment methods that they have directly through Stripe. But I believe the cards are like 2.7 to 3%, something like that for most cards through Stripe. But you can check out Stripe's website for specific details on their merchant account fees. Great questions. Shahir, any other features that I haven't yet shown, man, that you want me to highlight on here? I know you guys are the wizards behind the curtain. You've been awesome here to answer lots of questions. Same goes for our audience. Any other questions or things you'd love to see more clearly on today's demo?
Nothing from my end, Brent. I think you covered it pretty well. So yeah, good demo.
Yeah, awesome. Well, you guys have been an amazing audience today. So this is available. So if you log into Cloudways, you guys can sign up directly to client billing. You can manage those plans. I highly encourage you to do this. It is a free plan. So you can go in here, see if it works for your needs, test a client out, throw a couple services in there, create a bunch of different plans for those services. Maybe your first service is a one-time project service. Your second service is a recurring service, and you can create individual plans for your sub-services from there. Or if you need a little bit more flexibility and control, you can upgrade to that growth plan. But everybody that's on Cloudways is going to get access to that free plan, one client, two services. So if you do have, if you're a small freelance business and you want to be able to invoice your clients and not pay for an expensive third-party service, then you've got this directly in your back end. Ryan, yeah, man, what's your question? Ah, not at this time. So you will have to manage that separately. That is not an integrated service at this time. So, like when you go in and create a client, that client right now is not connected to your hosting app or hosting services on Cloudways. And yeah, so I think, you know, if that's a useful feature for you, definitely something that we can explore when we think about the future of Cloudways and how we're supporting agencies and freelancers. Obviously, this tool is one step, kind of one brick in us building out that future for you. So definitely share your feedback with the team, share what you'd like to see with this. I'm sure the team's going to take tons and tons of customer feedback. Obviously, we have this feature built into Cloudways for a reason. So hopefully we'll see lots of great integrations, cross feature support there in the future. So appreciate that. Yeah. And I love the clean UI. So I think one of the things I've loved to see from the Cloudways product is just how simple and easy they make hosting. And we're excited to see how simple and easy we can also make agency tools and agency services. So very cool. Clients tend to pay their bills faster when they know their account could get shut off. Which, Ryan, to be fair, you can obviously have that threat of force hanging over your clients, regardless of whether that happens automatically or not. So letting your clients know, hey, if you don't pay your bills, we will shut off your hosting. We'll pause your hosting because obviously if you're not paying your bills, how can you expect us to pay your bills? And so, Ryan, I think that's just operating your business in a good way, right? You don't want to be extending credit to your clients indefinitely if they can't pay those bills. But yes, automation is king. So we will pass that feedback along to the team, and I'm sure Shahir and the team will take that into consideration. So amazing questions, Robert. Thank you, Nick, for being here today. Leo, Nick, I know Nick. What's up, man? Brad, good to see you today. Arslan, thank you for helping us out. Same with Shahir. You guys are amazing. Thanks for bringing this feature to the product this year. Really excited to see how freelancers and agencies are using this. If you are watching today's session and you have not yet signed up for a Cloudways account, if you're watching the recording, definitely first step is to sign up with your Cloudways account. Then you can check out this amazing client billing feature. And that is our program for today. So you guys have been a fantastic crowd. We love having you a part of the Cloudways family of customers, and we will see you on our next session. If you have further questions, please hit that support button in the product and reach out to our team, and we'll be glad to route your question or comment to the appropriate place. That is our program, and we will see you next time. Until then, I'm Brent Weaver.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.